Hi everyone, Dave Bradshaw here, alongside RevPro owner and matchmaker Andy Quildan. We have just come off air, Summer Sizzler 2026. My God, the main event. So it's one of the most contentious endings, I think, that we've had in some time, possibly ever, here in RevPro, particularly given the circumstances with it being in Leon Slater's home city, the passions that were running so high here at Bradford Live. What a venue, by the way, what a debut we've had here. We'll talk about that. But the first thing we have to talk about, Leon Slater believed that he had just become the undisputed British heavyweight champion. He hit the Swanton 450, got the 1-2-3 on Michael Oku. The music played, everyone was celebrating. But then things changed.
Yes, his foot was underneath the bottom rope. The reason his foot was on the bottom rope was because Liam Slater was hanging on to Michael Oku's leg, which I guess we presumed was I don't know, maybe it was to try and stop Michael Oku from kicking out. And, you know, the referee spotted, he was dazed. He spotted the foot under the bottom rope, restarted the match. Michael Oku had that chain. I guess we'll rewind that chain, you know, which we saw play a part in those Slater Dojo matches with HMD and Liam Slater earlier on tonight. And Liam Slater gave it to Leon to try and use during the main event. And Leon wanted to win it on his own merit. And yeah, Michael Oku was able to utilize that chain, get the victory in very controversial fashion, booking his main event slot at Wembley. It's official. It's going to be Michael Oku versus Connor Mills live from the OVO Arena in Wembley. You know, you think that was the most newsworthy thing to come out of his show. But after that, you saw Liam went going through the motions in the ring. Like at the first, it looked like he was crying, and then he looked like he was seething with anger. And he went to attack Leon from behind, and Leon saw it coming, took his head off. It's the end of the association between Leon Slater and the Slater Dojo. He said that he doesn't need, you know, he went through all the, you know, the times costing them the tag team championships, and then tonight the heavyweight championship, and I'm sure he listed some other things as well. He said that he doesn't need him. He doesn't need a coach anymore. So,
But I'm trying to just figure out as well exactly what happened with Liam Slater. So I can't work out whether this was premeditated, like it was the plan all along or something from Liam Slater, or whether Liam was infuriated by Leon's refusal to use the chain during the match, whether Liam was just angry at himself about the mistake he made by putting the leg under the bottom rope and took it out on Leon. I can't get into my head why, under any circumstances, Liam would have. He looked. I mean, he was clearly, he was about to charge. He was charging at Leon to attack him after the match, and I can't understand why.
That's going to have to be a question for him. I think that he's a very, I don't know, he's a very complicated man, is Liam Slater, and I feel like it's a question for him. So let's, I guess, try and ask that question. Like I say, it's again, we said in this build up to this match, the only constant is change, and it seems that that's correct because it's all change again. And I'm lost for words. And again, like I don't know. You know, it could be. You know, you said about all the different options. You know, like, is this premeditated? Is it something that happened during the match when he didn't use a chain? Is it a tantrum that Leon didn't win the belt? Is it that Leon blamed him for the tag team championship loss last week? You know, is it the fact that he feels that Leon Slater is eclipsing the Slater Dojo, the Leon Slater, because he always talks about the Slater brand, but it's a Leon Slater brand eclipsing the Slater Dojo brand. Is it that? Is it all the above? It could be any one of them, and really you'd have to get those answers from Liam Slater, but it's not the way I envisaged tonight's show to end, and it's kind of sad that, you know, stuff ends in such a controversial note to end the evening.
Look, that metal chain, by the way, had more of an impact on the show than I can imagine any single weapon, single item having, because it helped prior to that Liam Slater to get the win over Lou Jacobs, HMD to get the win over RPD. So when Leon looked like he'd got the win, it looked like it was a clean sweep for Slater Dojo. That proved in the end not to be the case. So as you say, we'll find out what all the fallout from that is as we go forward. Let's speak briefly then about what we now know. As you said, that does confirm, that clears the path to Wembley for Michael Oku. So we know the main event, the OVO Arena Wembley, August 29th, our 14-year anniversary, will be the renewal of this never-ending rivalry between Michael Oku and Connor Mills. As the owner and matchmaker of RevPro, what's your reaction to now having that certainty?
Well, it's nice to have some clarity about where we're going, but it's certainly an intriguing match given the history of the pair and the past contests they've had. And it's going to be interesting to see what route this contest goes. Like we always say, there's still a lot of wrestling to be done between now and then. We've got shows every week now, so it's going to be interesting to see what the road, like we've been speaking about this mythical road to Wembley, but now we're well and truly on it. So it's kind of, yeah, it's an interesting one, but it's befitting that it's something that really, look, when we think back to the Michael Oku and Connor Mills saga here in Revolution Pro Wrestling, it started in 2019, and it's something that has been there or bubbling under throughout that entire period of time,
which is half the existence of RevPro.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? That's how long this has been going.
Yeah, and that's it. And you can be like, oh, we had COVID in the middle, but COVID plays a huge part in that as well. Because was it 2009? It was actually 2020. I'm sorry. So,
okay, but still,
6 years.
6 years. Still an enormously long time.
But then the story between Michael Oku and Connor Mills started from Michael Oku's first day walking in to a wrestling school.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and like you say, just saying you've got COVID in the middle of it, but COVID played a big part of it as well. And look, I'm sure we're going to have plenty of time to look back across the timeline and the history between Oku and Mills. I think we've unpicked little parts of it, when they've gone into contest with one another, but I don't think we've ever done a real deep dive into that friendship, that history between the pair. Yeah, it's a real deep and personal match. What I will say about this Wembley show, I'm super excited, and hopefully you're starting to see more advertising going all around the place for Wembley, and you're getting excited and you're telling people about it, because that's that's what we need to be doing. We're kind of all working together now to try and get as many people through the doors as possible. But it's kind of one thing that I'm very proud of is the fact that it's a RevPro crowd. Hopefully it's a bigger RevPro crowd. It's a RevPro card, and I've been saying time and time again what my belief is in our roster. I've been saying time and time again, how much I believe we have got pound for pound the best roster in the world, and that we can stand up against any other show, any other roster, anywhere. Right. The only thing that we don't have is a budget, the sponsors, the budget, the workforce behind it, this is just it's a little ship that could, and I have to remain faithful to our roster who got us to where we are right now. Of course, there's going to be some guest names appearing, but this isn't a show which is, for all intents and purposes, going to be a wrestling at Super show with no identity. This is a Revolution Pro Wrestling show. And I think when you think about Revolution Pro Wrestling, two of the first names you think about are Connor Mills and Michael Oku. So it's kind of befitting that that's the main event for our 14-year anniversary show.
Of course, there's still plenty of uncertainty around some of the other things going on with Wembley. I talked about Luke Jacobs, who wrestled today, but I'm going to be speaking to Ethan Allen shortly after we finish here, so we'll have an update on his condition in the coming days, I guess, here on the YouTube channel. There's also uncertainty around the Undisputed British Women's Championship, because even though she had a successful title defence today on her birthday, Alexis Falcon win over Holly Barlow, she's still got 2 more to do in the next 2 weeks, including this coming Saturday at the Women's Grand Prix. Now, we saw right after the match that as she continued to attack Barlow, Lucy Sky ran to the ring and made the save for Barlow. can you give us any news about what's going to happen with Alexis Falcon, the second of those 3 title defences at the Women's Grand Prix?
She's going to take on Lucy Sky.
That's what I thought you might say.
There you go. Like Lucy Sky, she made a statement last week against Sky Smithson. Tonight, she made her presence felt against the champion. Real statement of intent. So show 1 of that Women's Grand Prix will be headlined by an undisputed British Women's Championship match, with Alexis Falcon going 1-on-1 with Lucy Sky.
All right, and of course the Women's Grand Prix itself going on throughout the 2 shows in the hangar in Wolverhampton, as we will know certainly after Saturday who the number 1 contender is for that women's title. Although
the whole picture's becoming a lot clearer about Wembley. So obviously, as you're about to say, obviously Alexis still, if she wins or Lucy Sky wins, whoever wins that contest at the Women's Grand Prix will go on to Portchester Hall August 2nd, and then whoever wins that contest.
So the last, just to be clear, the last women's title match before Wembley, one way or another, will be live in London on August the 2nd. And after that, whoever is the champion has that clear run to whoever's won the Women's Grand Prix. So we will get the clarity there.
And I think that's very important as well, so we know what we're going to see at Wembley. So that's why we're trying to kind of have those targets. The same was going to be said for the British Heavyweight Championship. But obviously, we did a deal to get to where we've got to.
Now, as we get closer to Wembley, lots of people trying to vie for attention and get themselves into a position where they can hopefully get themselves onto that show. One person who maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he chose certainly an interesting moment to force his way back into RevPro today was TK Cooper. Cooper assaulting JJ Gale right after Gale had got a win in a brutal strap match, hopefully settling the rivalry between him and David Francisco. So your thoughts on the strap match and also your thoughts on this unexpected return from TK Cooper?
Well, I hope JJ Gale's finally rid himself of David Francisco. It was a brutal match. They're going to be feeling that match for weeks to come. There's certainly a lot of frustration on both parts, and David Francisco, again, he proved he's tough. You can say what you like about him, like I say I often do, but he's tough. And then obviously the conclusion of that match, TK Cooper using this as an opportune time to return to Revolution Pro Wrestling. Of course, the last time we saw TK Cooper in the Rev Pro ring was being defeated by JJ Gale in the final of this year's Revolution Road tournament, in a hell of a contest at the Portchester Hall. And we've not seen or heard from him since. At first we heard lots of complaining about what happened, why he was screwed. Did we saw him? Sorry, I stand corrected. We saw him at the Revolution Rumble as well, didn't we? And where he was entrant number 1.
Yeah.
In that Revolution Rumble.
Oh, he has grievances about that as well. Yes,
he's got grievances about that as well. But then after that, like I say, there was a lot of complaining at first. He was very loud and outspoken about the fact that he was number 1, the fact he was in the ring for so long. And then radio silence.
Yeah. But we now know why.
He was waiting for his moment.
Picking his spot.
And he was waiting for his time.
Yeah.
And the person he chose was obviously that person who defeated him in the Revolution Road tournament. He believes there's controversial circumstances in that as well. Obviously, he's got an excuse for everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's picked JJ Gale. And I'm sure JJ Gale's not going to take it lying down. So we'll see what happens between TK Cooper and JJ Gale. We need to go away from today. And the fact that it's a Saturday is kind of good because it gives us an extra day to try and get stuff organised with, in terms of speaking to wrestlers, getting matches signed, negotiating, etc. It gives us that extra day to be able to get stuff done. Of course, we have plans that we will be adhering to regardless, but there's always those variables, and TK Cooper seems to me to be one of those variables, the way he's inserted himself here tonight. So that's something to watch out for.
Well, there's a couple more of those variables I want to talk to you about. One of them is a man who has been complaining quite a lot about some of the roadblocks as he sees it on his road to Wembley in the way of people who he thinks do not belong on that road. That's Shah Samuels, who got a win, controversial win, but a win nonetheless in, I guess, what was sort of a decider against Man like de Vries, for them having beaten each other once before. Where does Shah Samuels stand then on the road to Wimbledon?
I don't know. It's my answer. My honest answer. We sat here after the show. I don't know. He's very outspoken. Of course, he's someone we want to be involved in the show. But where's, what's his road? What's his route?
I mean, you get the impression with Samuels that nothing will satisfy him either, because obviously last year he was in the main event for the Undisputed British Heavyweight Championship, a match that he won. He's not going to be in that heavyweight championship match this year. That match is set. And I don't know what else would give him the spot on the show that he feels he deserves.
But genuinely, I don't know. And I think that's a question you'd have to ask him. But again, this is a constant thing. And look, of course, like I said, of course Shah Samuels deserves to be there. He's a big part of our history, and you can like him or you can hate him, but Shah Samuels is a big part of our history. The last couple of years with Shah Samuels in RevPro, maybe even longer, God knows, time flies, doesn't it? But since he's been back in RevPro, he's created so many memorable moments, and I'm sure he wants to create another Wembley moment, well, another memorable moment, but this time in Wembley, like a huge moment in the biggest show in Revolution Pro Wrestling history. So again, I guess watch this space, but I'm sure if there's not a space, he's gonna create one, bulldoze his way through, so to speak.
Well, a slightly happier problem you maybe have, in terms of another variable for where they might fit into this whole jigsaw, is Leon Cage. Because, my goodness, what a result for Leon Cage tonight. A victory over the former undisputed British heavyweight champion, Jay Joshua. Hell of a match as well. Leon Cage is presumably another person you've got to try and fit into this equation.
Yeah, fantastic professional wrestling match between Leon Cage and Jay Joshua. Leon Cage almost coming of age before our very eyes. You saw the evolution of him as a contest went on, and able to get Jay Joshua with that flash pin, that saber clutch, something that Jay Joshua's going to have to be very careful and going to have to look out for. When he goes one-on-one with Zack Sabre Jr. comes Saturday, August 29th, live from the OVO Arena in Wembley. And this is not the preparation for that mega match, that super fight at the OVO Arena that Jay Joshua was looking for. I think he went into this match thinking big bro versus little bro. I'm going to teach him a little bit of respect, so to speak, after what the events of the Revolution tag in Sheffield. And in many ways, he got that contest almost put the match, it was almost to spare Leon Cage from the wrath of Connor Mills, and look how that one wound up. And Jay Joshua frustrated not only with Leon Cage. At the end of that contest, you saw him push him down, but also frustrated with himself. So this is where champions are made, Dave. I always say, you don't judge a man by the way he falls, you judge the man by the way he picks himself up. So we're going to see how Jay Joshua picks himself up from this situation. Look, it may be a case of he's got his match, he's got his destination, he's got what he wants for Wembley. So maybe he's taken his eye off what's in front of him. Maybe he's focusing too much in the future, and he needs to focus in the present and the now, because it could be devastating to go into that event with momentum and confidence not on his side.
Now, the other match I want to talk about very briefly, our opener tonight, and it was a victory in tag team action for Nino Bryant against the team that obviously featured the man who he's currently scheduled to face for the Undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship, the reigning champion, Leighton Buzzard. That match, again, not totally confirmed. Nino Bryant's spot in that match is confirmed because he's the number one contender. Leighton Buzzard looking pretty impenetrable, though, as the Cruiserweight champion. The psychological dynamic between those two, with Nino getting a win tonight, how do you think that changes things?
Well, I think the main thing regarding this is the first time we've seen El Capitan, the man with a plan, his plans backfire.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw they wanted to target Xander Bryant. They were able to do so, where I was getting out of the contest. But Nino and Leland, they stayed on track, and they were able to win that match. And it was a hell of a tag team match to start the show. Really, really enjoyed that one. I feel like the main thing is, it's not so much, because look, it was Josh Holly who was pinned. It's a tag team match. It's a different environment to singles contests. But I think the main thing that will be coming out of it for Leighton Buzzard is the fact that the plan backfired.
Mm-hmm. Now, we are headed to the West Midlands this coming weekend. We've already talked about the Women's Grand Prix, but don't forget on Sunday as well, we are live in Coventry. So just before we finish here, just wanted to, see if you want to tell us anything. Right. Anything else you want to tell us about what we're going to see Saturday or Sunday?
So, look, Sunday, obviously we said you're going to get Lucy Sky and Alexa, Saturday, sorry, Lucy Sky and Alexis Falcon. We've alluded to the fact that there's an alternates match on the way. So the scheduled participants in that match, and again, the match graphic may be out before this comes out. So if it is, it's not news, but
still counts.
So we've got Myla Grace, will be entering that contest. Sky Smithson, and then we've got a couple of debuts. Violet Knight, and the other exciting debut, Corey Zero from France will be making up the numbers in that 4-way contest. Of course, that's an alternates match, so the winner of that match, they'll be held off of show 2 in case of injury to any of the participants. So if anyone's taking a knock, can't compete on show 2, they'll either slot in the semi-final or final spot. It could be a huge moment for whoever wins that contest, because someone might not be able to go on, and it puts them straight into the tournament and into an advantageous position, so to speak. So, it's a huge opportunity to all 4 women involved. All I can tell you, again, like I said, I alluded to last week when we were talking about Coventry, many of the names, all the international names are going to be involved in our show in Coventry. We're going to start announcing stuff very soon.
I guess some of it depends on what happens on Saturday, right?
Well, yeah, a lot of it will depend on what happens on Saturday. So, that's going to be the variable. So, show 2, obviously, on Saturday will feature a lot of the people in the tournament on show 1 who get eliminated. So the card's not going to be fully formed, but we will be releasing brackets tomorrow, which is Sunday. So whenever this comes out.
All right, well, we'll look forward to that. So West Midlands Weekender coming up as we are on the road to Wembley. Just 6 weeks away now as we are speaking, but the Women's Grand Prix live in Coventry coming up before that. We'll see you there. In the meantime, Andy, thanks as always for joining me. I'm Dave Bradshaw. We'll see you soon.